I want to give my summation of how my mind got captivated by the idea of this imaginary friend I've been calling Bashuasi, okay? There is a real person, but apparently uh, this real person is not interested or does not have the kind of interest in me that I thought she did. So let me explain how my mind got caught up in thinking that uh, I might be in a relationship, in love with this particular person. Okay, let's go back to my childhood, and the moment I feel is the turning point in my life. Okay, I'm around 12 years old, and so my mother must have been around 41 at that time. Okay, so uh, America's Man of the Year, who was, I don't believe he was my biological father, but he was the man who raised me. He savagely beat my mother when I was that age, like 12, okay? And my mother disappeared from our house for a while. Nobody knew where she was. And I was hoping at that time that my parents would divorce. I was secretly, oh God, I hope she, they divorce and this is it with this horrific man who's America's Man of the Year. He's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. He's a horrific liar and an abusive bitch. Okay, so um, I'm hoping like hell that my mother will divorce this guy. Anyway, she comes back. Her arms are black from where he's been beating her. And then years later, I ask her. I say, I heard these slaps down there, and I thought the Man of the Year was slapping the ironing board because get my mother's attention because I hear these slaps down there, right? And because she was ironing when it started out, and when he was slapping her, she was saying, "You're hurting me," like that. He was really. So I said, "What were the slaps?" She said, "He was punching me. He wasn't slapping the iron board. He was punching me." So that's consistent with these blackened arms of hers. Now, here's what happened. Our family got no what's called help. No help for this. No help at all. In fact, my mother tried to get this thing called help and she couldn't get it. In fact, she called Alcoholics Anonymous. The guy was an alcoholic, right? And what did they tell her? They told her, "We can't help him. He has to come to us. We're not going to get involved in this." Well, my mother came back to this monstrous man, and that sealed my fate because he now transferred his abuse fully onto me. And that abuse ended up wrecking my life. Okay? So the pivotal moment in my life was this time when we were supposed to get this thing called help and we got nothing from these folks in this business of what they're calling help. There was nothing there. So what happens? I gotta. I'm like going into it what I call an emotional blackout here because I'm forgetting. I'm incapable. I'm gonna have to put this on pause till I can remember what the hell I wanted to say. It was all clear to me, and now it's gone. Let me put this on pause. Okay, a few seconds, and I was able to recollect the drift of my argument. Now, this woman who shows up in my life when I'm an old man now, she showed up 3 years ago. In a few days, it'll be 3 years. So, 2022, and I'm in my late 60s at that time. Now, how old is this woman? She's around 41 by my wife's reckoning, and my wife is able to tell these kind of things. She says she's around 40. I figure 40, 41, right? What is she? Okay, she's a lot of things, and one thing she is she's that mother of mine that got savagely beaten at a time that was decisive in how my life was going to turn out. Because, as I say, when my mother came back to this monstrous America's Man of the Year, that sealed my fate to become the object of his destruction, and he was successful at destroying me. So, this woman shows up in my old age, when now my life is about to come to an end. I'm at a decisive moment again here. And there's a woman showing up who seems to be saying she loves me. And what is she? She's a chance to refine that mother who betrayed me. By not having the courage to leave this man who abused her and abused me. And so now this middle-aged woman who's attractive the way my mother was. My mother was a very attractive woman. This is a very attractive woman. And so psychologically, I have a chance now at this decisive moment. This is the end of my life now, to replay the scene, so to speak, where that middle-aged woman way back then betrayed me, sending me to my doom. Now I'm certainly headed to my doom. I'm going to pass away, right, as I get older. And now I'm at a decisive moment again, and this woman who's at the age of my mother was, now she's saying she loves me. So what is that? This middle-aged woman, symbolic of my mother, is choosing me. That my mother didn't do. My mother chose the monster. She didn't choose me. If she'd have chosen to save me, she'd have left that man. That would have been choosing me. She didn't do that. Now, here's a woman that shows up at another decisive moment. This is the climax here of my life. And she's choosing me in a way where it looks like she's going to even lose her career by choosing me. She's a very successful woman, and she looks like she's getting in trouble at work, and she's even getting fired for choosing me. So am I wildly in love with this woman? Yeah. Because I'm redoing this psychological scene from way long time ago, where my life got wrecked, and now I'm thinking I'm going to be saved. This should have happened in a way all those years ago, way back when I was 12, and now at the end of my life, is a kind of salvation is on the way. Okay, I think there's more to this, but there is more, but let me just put this on pause and see if I have more, want to just stop here. Let me just put this on pause and think a little. These kind of things are so difficult to talk about, but this monstrous American Man of the Year, what does he do? He's an alcoholic. He's abusive, and he starts to sexually abuse me when he comes back. Unless he'd already started, I don't know, because I don't have any actual, I think it's called today smoking gun proof. Somebody shot a gun and you see the smoke coming out of the gun. I guess that's what that means. So, yeah, that's the gun that fired the bullet. And it was in that man's hand. He's guilty. This kind of thing, right? I don't have anything like that. I just got circumstantial evidence because I'm saying this man who was a medical doctor was raping me, male raping me while I was asleep. Asleep. I didn't even know what was happening. He was using ether, I would imagine. He showed me how good he was with ether and bragged about how good he was with ether and showed me where the ether was at the hospital where he worked. He was using ether to keep me asleep when he raped me. So we go on, and I'm not getting along with this guy, and these rapes are causing me all kinds of problems in my conscious life that I don't know where they're coming from, but they're coming from this unconscious abuse that I'm suffering while I'm asleep. And so I'm having all kinds of problems getting along in the world, and I have no idea why, to put a kind of Freudian phrasing on that, right? And all this leads to what? This man who's a medical doctor sets in motion an involuntary proceeding on me, and I don't know anything about such things. And now I'm in an emotional blackout again. I had a point, and it's gone. I got to put this on pause because really I can't remember what I was going to say. Let me put this on pause. It might come back. Yeah, it just takes a second. This man gets this thing called help to descend on me in all its savagery. And I'm arrested out of the blue and taken off in handcuffs and then nearly murdered by this thing called help. And yet there was nothing there when that man savagely beat my mother the way he did and then condemned me by not showing up, no help at all, condemned me to the destruction I met with. These rapes that started up when he came back and made me the object of all the abuse he'd been directing at my mother. So now the help has arrived to destroy me at his instructions. A man who has been committing crimes like this should have had him in prison. The help is there to help him in his plan to destroy me. Sound paranoid, huh? But it's the truth. And that's where that help comes. Now, this is, to my mind, as horrific as when you see in those Nazi concentration camp type movies. They got like a busload of children that are the Nazis have put on a bus and say, "Come on, get in the bus," and they're taking them off to a gas chamber, right? Pretty horrible, right? Well, that's what this was like. This is the kind of life that I've had, and it's hard to talk about. Now, these helpers in this field are going to show up again now by saying somehow that I'm in need of more of their help. But this is too hard to talk about. But I think I've made the point of just how horrific this whole situation is. But this woman, by choosing me this way, I thought was going to be a kind of poetic justice for me. That's the best I can do. It's too hard to talk on this subject. in full right now, but I've sketched a little of the horror I've had to deal with. And, you know, I've just sketched, and, well, that's as much as I can do for the present time. I want to say that my main point here is that this woman who's shown up is my mother, the 41-year-old who should have chosen me long ago, and that would have saved me. And now, at the end here, a woman who is like my mother reborn, so to speak. My mother's passed away. This is my mother choosing me, and as I say, she's a beautiful and a wonderful woman, and she's choosing me in such a fantastic way that these folks who came in with this help declaring me to be crazy, if it turns out that this woman is for real, then my getting to get together with her will be such a staggering accomplishment that it will prove without any need for courts that these accusations against me that I'm crazy and that I have this problem and this issue, these are outrageously wrong. They are so wrong, they're evil. And so, once again, this relationship with this woman, who I've been calling Bishuasi, has looked to me like a possible poetic justice here at the end of my life. That's the best I can do for summing things up at the present time between me and what may only be an imaginary friend with no poetic justice coming my way at all. I don't know.